If your child is taking or they're having trouble staying in their room at rest time to just hang out on their own, this is the video for you. Hi, my name is Jensen Casey. I am your sleep BFF, and I bring my years of experience with children as well as my degrees to bring you the science behind sleep as well as the real life strategies and blend them both together because mom life, right? So today we are going to talk all about the Toniebox and why it is a must-have for your child that is sleeping in a bed. So we have personally 3 Tonieboxes. My boys, we took a little field trip. We are in my son's bedroom today. I have 2 boys that are 6 and 4 currently at the time of this filming, and they share a room. I also have a daughter. She has her own Toniebox, and then we have another Toniebox that is in our playroom. So we are no strangers to the Toniebox. So shout out to Toniebox. We love you. So today we are diving into what is the Toniebox and why do you absolutely need one. So if you're not familiar with it, this is the Toniebox. It is just a cool little box here. This is the speaker side of it. And on the top, it's magnetic, so you can stick on your little figures, which we'll talk about in a second. Basically, there is no on-off button with the Toniebox. The way that you turn it on is just to click one of the ears, and then the light will shine. And a little song will sing, so you know that it's on. And then you can put your figure on top for it to start to play. If you want to turn the volume louder, you can click on that ear. If you want to turn the volume down, you would click on the smaller ear. It has a charging feature, so you just have this little stand that you pop it on to charge it. It has a pretty long battery life. I don't know exactly, and I can pop that in the description how long the battery life is, but we have brought ours on vacation and used it in the car, and it was about an hour-and-a-half car trip, and it worked for the whole time. So you are supposed to, as with most electronics, take it off of the box, let the charge drain completely before you put it back on. For our bedroom ones, we do typically keep them on the charger just because it's easier, but if we ever do bring them somewhere else, the charge is still working fine, and it's been a couple of years since we got our Toniebox. It also has a port for headphones, so if you want each of your children on a road trip to have their own Toniebox and be able to listen to whatever they want to listen to, you can do that and not have a million different sounds going on in the car. We have a road trip coming up this summer, so I'm definitely going to have all 3 of their Tonieboxes ready with headphones so they can each listen to it during that car trip. So I'm going to show you kind of a little bit how the Tonies work. So I'm going to turn the volume up just so you can hear it. So each figure is a different Tonie, and you can tell because on the bottom it will have this cool little Tonie face. So you know that it's a Tonie and it's not just a regular toy of your child's. So once you put the feature on the box, it will start to play. Once you pop it off, you can put another one right on, and that one will start to play. Some of them have varying volumes, so what's really loud for this one might be really soft for the next one, or vice versa. So know that you may have to do some adjustments. The nice thing is once you play one, play a different one, and then you put that same one back on, it will start again. So if you notice that Rebel one is a little bit louder than the other ones, but I didn't touch the volume. So if you wanted to start one over at the beginning, you would just put it back on, or take it off, put a new one on, and then put this initial one back on. That starts it over at the beginning. It has multiple songs. So if you want to skip a song, you just tap the side and it goes into the next song. Or if you don't like that one, you tap it again and it goes to a different story. So there are multiple stories and songs on most of the characters. Depending on the character, it will have a different run time. So some of them are a little bit shorter or longer than others. So if you have a Toniebox, tell me in the comments what color Toniebox you have and your child's favorite Tonie. I am looking at the lot over there. We have maybe about 35, 40 combined. I'm thinking in my boys' room, in my daughter's room, and downstairs in our playroom, we have a lot of Tonie figures. So if you have one that your child absolutely loves, pop in the comments. I'd love to know. I'm always on the search for new tonies. So the biggest thing about using our tonie is the boundaries around it, and that's what parents want to know. So stay tuned because I'm getting to that right now. So because I have 2 boys that share a room, oftentimes parents will ask me, well, isn't it a distraction at bedtime? Do I even want them to be able to use the Toniebox at bedtime? But I personally, as a pediatric sleep consultant, love using our tonie at bedtime, not just with the bedtime tonie. So there is a sleep sheet where you can put it on top. It's a nightlight and it has calming stories on it and kind of lullaby music. So that is a really great one for sleep. But we just use these regular features or these regular tonies, and we turn the volume down as the boys are going to sleep. So to prevent any confusion, we switch off who gets to pick the tonie each night. So my husband and I keep track. We know when it's one son's turn, and then the next night it will be our other son's turn, and they get to pick whichever tonie they want, and their brother cannot argue with it, and put it onto the box before we tuck them into sleep. Just having that boundary set has ended so many arguments. We have, just a flawless system at this point where they don't argue, they don't fight about it. They know maybe they don't love their brother's choice, but they know, okay, it is what it is for the night. And if that tonie runs out and that child who didn't like the choice is still awake, they can then put their preferred tonie on top. So it always works out. So we have them pick before bed. I pulled multiple tonies before I started this video, but typically there will be 3 here. The one that they pick, and then there's 2 alternates. So they don't just have free reign of, they know the other tonies stay put away, and we just have a couple of tonies to choose from because that really limits their options, and it makes it not go on and on and on as they're picking their tonies every single night. Listening to it as they fall asleep. Sometimes the tonie probably turns off before they're asleep, and that's okay. They never wake up overnight and are looking for the tonie. I do know sometimes if they wake up early in the morning, especially my older son, he'll go to the bathroom. When he comes back, he might pop a tonie on before he lays back into bed and goes back to sleep. So it's really just a great thing for them to be able to occupy themselves, because as children get older, very similar to adults, sometimes it's hard to just lay in bed in silence or with the sound machine on. Your mind starts racing. It's hard to actually relax, and you're just thinking about how not tired you are instead of how much you want to get back to sleep, and what you actually need to do is relax. So having a story playing is just a nice way for them to be able to relax into sleep. That's occupying their thoughts. They're not thinking about all the other things that happened during the day that they forgot to tell you and want to tell you and need to hop up out of bed and let you know right that moment. So having the Toniebox has really been a great addition to our bedtime routine to help our children fall asleep easier. So if you have any questions about the Toniebox, pop them in the comments below. I have more relaxation techniques for children that are in a bed in another video. So I'm going to link that video below. If your child is having any problems relaxing into sleep, they're getting up out of their bed multiple times a night, they're saying that they're not tired, they're really pulling out all the stalling techniques, that video is for you. So I'm going to link that below in the description, and I'll see you there.